Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining me on this video. So, with spring coming up on us here, it's time for us to start making some plans for our lawns and gardens. And one of those things that you guys are probably considering is buffalo grass if you're watching this video. So, I have got a whole series of videos telling you what buffalo grass is and how it has its advantages. I also have in that video series how you can install buffalo grass and what you should expect for getting it established in your yard. What this video is more dedicated to, though, is for those wondering, is buffalo grass appropriate for you? And then just some things you can anticipate when you're establishing a yard if you do pull the trigger. So the first thing let's talk about is, can you actually use buffalo grass? Now here's the thing, buffalo grass is, basically has an environment that that is not suited for. So if you take a look at this map here, so as you can see, basically what I have circled is more or less the range of where you could use buffalo grass, more or less in the United States. Anything not circled in this map in the United States is not appropriate for buffalo grass, and this is why. At a certain point, you start getting too much moisture the more east you go in the United States. And as you start getting too much moisture, what's going to happen is the buffalo grass, one, is not going to like that. And on top of that, because it won't be thriving as well, it will also have a ton of weed pressure and it's not going to look good in your yard. So like people in Florida, people in New York, people in Georgia and the Carolinas, you get way too much moisture and you resultantly also have too much weed pressure for buffalo grass to thrive in that type of environment. So that's why I have this area circled. Basically, it's enough to where the natural precipitation is usually under about 25 inches to 20 inches per year. And that's really where buffalo grass thrives. And so basically when you have a desert environment, a Great Plains type of environment, that's where buffalo grass grew up and that's where it thrives. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask me in the comments, but that's why I'm saying if you are not in this circular location on the map, you should not be getting buffalo grass. So speaking of water, though, let's talk about the next consideration you should have with buffalo grass. So in my other videos, I have said that buffalo grass is water thrifty. It is very water thrifty. You'll be watering at least a third less than any other grass that you would have normally. But here's the problem. The problem is this, is that in that first year of you getting that buffalo grass established, you're going to be spending a ton of money on water getting it established. Because the thing is that you got to really convince those buffalo grass seeds to actually sprout, because in its natural environment and what it involved in, it's used to drought conditions all the time. So if you don't convince it by constantly soaking those seeds and then to germinate, then you're not going to have a healthy stand of grass at the end of the year. So what you got to do is anticipate for that first year, your water bills are going to be high because you're really just laying down a ton of water over the season to convince that buffalo grass to germinate and then to spread as quickly as possible, thinking it's monsoon season on the Great Plains. So just anticipate that when it comes to getting that buffalo grass started. I know a lot of you folks who want to establish buffalo grass are doing it in areas where water is really expensive, but just stick to it for that 1 year, because once you do and once you get the buffalo grass established, you're going to make up for it in the subsequent years of having a nice healthy looking lawn without breaking the bank on water every year like you would with other species. Okay, let's talk about the next consideration you should take. So most of the time, buffalo grass grows in alkaline soil. So here in Colorado, we have really alkaline soils, like almost, I think, at an 8. And so what you need to anticipate is, even though you don't really have to apply a lot of nitrogen fertilizer or phosphorus or potash, what you do need to probably anticipate is using a bunch of iron supplements to get that buffalo grass healthy. I actually ran into that problem this previous year. Even though I was watering the grass adequately and giving it just the right amount of nutrients without overdoing it, it was still towards the end of the season looking a little haggard and looking brown. And I kept thinking, what is going on here? And then it dawned on me that, oh yeah, because I'm not giving this a lot of supplementation, it's probably not getting the iron it needs. And so I tested a little plot of it, and sure enough, that part of the strand recovered. So while you're not going to be applying a lot of fertilizer per se, you will need to keep an eye on your buffalo grass strand and apply iron as well. Okay, lastly, the last thing I want you guys to anticipate is more than likely where you're wanting to apply buffalo grass is where people used to have Bermuda grass. And because Bermuda basically is like the African version of buffalo grass. If you look at both of their native habitats, either in Africa or in the United States, what you see is that Bermuda and buffalo grass basically occupy the same niche within their respective continents. And so Bermuda grass can really can thrive in a lot of places that buffalo grass would. But the differences between Bermuda and buffalo grass are Bermuda still needs more water, and it also just needs a ton of nitrogen fertilizer for it to grow well, as opposed to buffalo grass not needing that. So kind of think of Bermuda this way though. If you have Bermuda in the area and you're wanting to establish buffalo grass instead, you got to be ready to just constantly whip out Roundup and take out that Bermuda, because that Bermuda is basically just going to come in and try and dominate that section of the yard if you do not stay on top of it and keep killing it off to allow the buffalo grass to fill in its stead, because the Bermuda is just way more aggressive, even with the relative lack of inputs. It won't look good, but it will still be more aggressive than the buffalo grass is. So if you're killing off a Bermuda lawn, for example, and wishing to establish buffalo grass, or if Bermuda is just in the area, be vigilant and do not be afraid to keep applying Roundup to take out the Bermuda while you're trying to get your buffalo grass stand started. So that's basically all I have for today. I just figured it'd be a nice video for you guys to take into consideration if you are thinking about doing buffalo grass this year. Please check out the rest of my videos to see what else I had to say for getting a buffalo grass lawn started and what buffalo grass actually is. Other than that, you guys take it easy, have a good one, and I'll talk to you next time.